Hi, it's Lizelle Bragg, and I want to talk about my Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that I went to on 9/17 at the VA. The clientele that I had dealt with were mostly males, and many of them were veterans. There was only about one or two that in there that were not veterans, and I thought that was an interesting concept just because they really had each other's back during this meeting, because that's what the job that they had went into, and that was their life, and it was having each person's back. So that's what made this meeting so special. Prior to entering into this meeting, I was unsure about what I was walking into. Would the clients, would they be angry? Would they have rage? Would they just be consumed with sadness? Would they be with regret? I wasn't sure because in my life I've never interacted really in a personal level with people who have had such addictions. So I didn't know what I was going to be dealing with. What I did walk into was an experience that was very enlightening. I loved that because they were veterans, that they had each other's backs and they really opened up to one another about their stories. The meeting that I went to really focused on step 9, which was to make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. And I thought it was interesting just because they had been dealing with their life, or most of it, being an alcoholic, that they don't remember exactly who they had hurt before. So they're trying to live their life in a positive way because they don't know if they've hurt that person and they want to make amends for whatever they have done in the past. The experience that I dealt with was so great. They each shared their own personal stories and their personal triumphs about what had been going on in their life and what they've been doing since then. And they celebrated little victories in their lives about turning down that first drink, because one of the leaders was talking that he believed when he was an alcoholic that he became drunk at beer between like 13 and 14, and that all those other beers didn't matter. But what really was going on was him taking that first drink, and he wanted to stop the drinking. So instead of taking that, going to beer 13 and 14 and stopping then, he's like, you know what, I'm going to stop the drinking at the source. I'm not going to have that because I myself cannot control it. And a lot of the members were like, I can't control it either, so I completely agree with you. And it's an interesting way of putting it because I hadn't thought about that. And some people can control themselves, but none of these men believed that they could, nor have they in the past. So I thought that was really great that they recognized that and they celebrated that victory of not taking that first drink. During the meeting, it was very insightful. The members of the meeting wanted to really assist others in what they were dealing with because they all have been there themselves. They celebrated their victories no matter how big or small they were, because they were all victories. And they talked about how they have hurt people in the past with their drinking, and some of the people they will never be able to apologize to. But they try to work towards being a better human by treating everyone they encounter with respect and kindness. This meeting was all about making amends to people in their lives that they've hurt because of their drinking. And it was so insightful about how much they realized their drinking has impacted their lives, because many of them had families and they want to show their families and their children that they can be responsible and adults, because all their time prior to this was being able to drink. And like a man that was talking about how he had never understood how people could go to work on a normal time, like at 8 o'clock every morning, and how they could pay their bills. Because what he was doing with his life was drinking. So he couldn't make it to work. He wouldn't make it to work on time because he was drinking and passing out at 3 in the morning every single night. And he was just taking now responsibility and being like, you know what, I'm not going to take that first drink, and I'm going to be a responsible adult and be responsible for the people in my life, and I'm going to pay the bills and pay the rent for the people in my life so I can help them have a better life as well as myself. One specific client that I thought was amazing was a man who was very new to being sober. He was 40 days sober at the meeting, and he didn't know if he was going to succeed. But, you know, he had that support system of all these men that have been there, that have worked through this, and they all told him the same thing. Beginning, those first 30 days are the hardest. That you will get through this, and if you keep your head down and don't take that first sip, then it will start not being easier, but, well, it will be kind of easier to say no and not to be as tempted, because you don't want to ruin all that progress that you've already had. How this experience will impact my nursing practice, it will, and I've learned in previous classes and working at the hospital, that when taking care of patients, that you're not just taking care of a set of symptoms. You're not just fixing the symptoms of these patients, of them being sick. Each patient has a story, has a background, they have troubles in their lives that plague them, and you're really taking care of the whole patient. You're helping them along their journey. And to be a good nurse, you need to listen to them and respect what they are saying, because you need to understand that you need to work with them to better themselves. So I want to continue to be kind to patients. I want to continue to listen to their stories, and I think that will help me in my nursing practice. So taking that time, even though it can be a busy day and you're running around, to listen to their stories, to listen to the family, so I can better customize their care and what they would like. This way, they can feel like they are being taken care of, not just on the physical side, but also the emotional side as well. And, you know, I want to take away from this meeting that though I've never been an alcoholic myself, to continue treating each and every person with the respect and kindness that they deserve, because you don't know what they're going through, and you want to help them, and I don't want to be a ding on their day to put them in a bad mood or to push them down if they are in a bad mood. And so that's just what the veterans in AA were talking about, and I'm going to take that and apply that to my life, because I want to make people feel better and help them out. Thank you.